Do you find yourself tired after a long day of trying to defeat your enemies? Does swinging a sword and axe around all day leave you too worn out to study fight film? Do you find yourself crashing and burning midway through a big tournament? If so, you should try Dubby. Dubby is a great way to energize yourself, whether it's at the gym, the office, or getting ready to step into the list. With a ton of great flavors to try. Use code Cincinnati Barba at checkout to save 10%. Do you find yourself tired after a long day of trying to defeat your enemies? Does swinging a sword and axe around all day leave you too worn out to study fight film? Do you find yourself crashing and burning midway through a big tournament? If so, you should try Dubby. Dubby is a great way to energize yourself, whether it's at the gym, the office, or getting ready to step into the list. With a ton of great flavors to try. Use code Cincinnati Barba at checkout to save 10%. Do you find yourself tired after a long day of trying to defeat your enemies? Does swinging a sword and axe around all day leave you too worn out to study fight film? Do you find yourself crashing and burning midway through a big tournament? If so, you should try Dubby. Dubby is a great way to energize yourself, whether it's at the gym, the office, or getting ready to step into the list. With a ton of great flavors to try. Use code CINCINNATIBARBA at checkout to save 10%. Do you find yourself tired after a long day of trying to defeat your enemies? Does swinging a sword and axe around all day leave you too worn out to study fight film? Do you find yourself crashing and burning midway through a big tournament? If so, you should try Dubby. Dubby is a great way to energize yourself, whether it's at the gym, the office, or getting ready to step into the list. With a ton of great flavors to try. Use code
That can't be healthy. There's no way.
And we are live. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the third episode of Axing Questions. It just keeps going, and it doesn't seem to be anywhere to stop. This time, we're joined with Sandy Aufermann, the captain of the Sorotos Pegasi.
Pegasi.
We just talked about it beforehand. And of course, we've got our hosts. We've got Alex Dark Souls Ding. Check him out on YouTube. He does a lot of rolling in armor, and earned that nickname. We have Travis Uwu Young, Shrek's secret lover. That one's self-explanatory. And we have myself, Cade McClarty. If this is your first time joining us, feel free to ask questions and chat and all of that, and we'll have a good time. So starting us off, Sandy, tell the people about yourself.
I started in armor back in March of 2022. Before that, I officially joined Blue Hurt back in November of 2021. And, it was really just me and one other woman on the team for a little while. And then she dropped out for basically a minute. And I got kind of lonely, so I got on Bumble BFF, and I got myself a team. And we went to Carnage, and we won. Surprised us all. And fast forward like 3 months, and here we are today.
So you got your team off of Bumble?
Yes.
That's fantastic. I love technology. I've actually never heard of that before, so please tell us more.
That's sweet lore.
I mean, it worked, so we got people, we got a team, and
like, how does recruiting go on Bumble? Like, hey, you want to hit somebody with an axe?
Well, I tell them, send me the words I want to hear. Can I be a knight? I just do things like that, and they message me, and I'm like, all right, come on out, come to practice, give it a try.
That's fantastic. Now, what a modern solution to recruiting, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you go when you don't have friends or you're a little lonely and you want to do something. At least if you're a woman. If you're a man, don't go on there for this.
Right.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
It works for women. The men tried it. Does not work for the men.
I haven't. What happens with the men?
I met Kate.
Oh, it gets a little weird.
Yeah, but it works out well for the women's side.
Huh. Well, as for recruiting, how did you personally get into Blue Hurt? Like starting off this whole catalyst of Bumble and...
Ooh, so I guess almost 2 years ago now, I was just minding my own business, and my brother from Cincinnati calls me out of the blue, and he's like, "I'm at a flea market and I'm looking at a suit of armor, and I think it will fit you. Should I buy it?"
What?
And I'm just like, oh my god, no. But it made me think, like, yeah, I've always wanted to be a knight. Clearly he knows this. This has been my dream my entire life. That's when he called me. Like, so I started Googling sword fighting near me, and I found HEMA. It wasn't what I really wanted, the place I went to. So I kind of still kept looking for, people in armor sword fighting, things like that. And Google just kept recommending Detroit Fight Club. And at first I was like, no, I don't want to be a boxer. But, it just kept recommending it for so many weeks that I'm like, you know what? I finally clicked the link, and I'm like, this is what I want. Yes. So I went to practice and fell in love and never left.
That's sweet. So Detroit was actually the first people that I fought outside of Ohio in 2020. I went up there, and it was at the Frankenmuth Ren Fair. And fun little time. Rich put me on the ground a few times. But that every time I've gone or interacted with anybody from DFC, everybody's been super positive and super fun to be around. So it's super cool that you found it that way.
Yeah, all thanks to Brother Aufermann too.
Yeah, and even when I was talking to him recently, he's like, really? I started all that? I'm like, yeah, your phone call really just spurred that instinct in me. Like, I can do this. I'm allowed to do this. I can find this.
Hell yeah.
Like, I'm almost 30. I want to live my dream.
all other sports aren't quite hitting it right.
That's much better than mine. I sent Kate an email one day while I was pooping, and it just went from there.
I've said it before. Mine was just I found a video on Barstool or Lad Bible or one of those, and it was the Russians practicing outside, and I was like, I can out crazy some Russians, and I sent Jacob Bowman an email, and then there we are. But I mean, geez, you've been busy then, from joining to building a team for Carnage, using Bumble, and then going to Worlds. How was Worlds?
Ooh,
Yeah.
it was hot. It was scary. It was amazing. It was very hot.
Yeah, did I mention hot?
Yeah, did I mention that? I was lucky enough that my friend was able to go with me. But the team that I went with, it was a bunch of us from all over the U.S. that I knew a few of them, but not all of them. So I'm hoping that in the future, if I ever get to go again, it'll be our team, that I'm very familiar with. We know where each other can move and things like that. Because trying to play with a bunch of new people was a little bit more difficult than the team that I'm familiar with.
Mm.
And it's just more comforting for me emotionally if I have my immediate friends with me, especially going overseas where I don't speak the language. But in general, it was amazing over there. The people that I did go with were amazing. It was really awesome to meet the other people in the sport that I've heard their names, but I've never met them before. And just to see all the other fighters around the world was incredible.
It sounds incredible. I've got a picture up right now of everybody with a castle in the background. That's a living childhood dream right there, right?
Yes, that was literally my dream.
Fighting in front of castles. And how's the crowd there?
The crowd was amazing. At one point, several of them were chanting for me, which was really kind of cool, especially after we took out their team, the Spaniard team. And as well, we were walking away, one of the Spaniard people in the crowd stopped me, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love you. That was amazing. And I'm a Spaniard." So it's just kind of funny. Like, I beat you guys, and you're like, all excited to meet me. But the crowd was huge, and it was awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's sweet. What would you say main takeaway was from being over there?
Ooh. I need to save up money because you never know when you're going to get offered the chance of a lifetime.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
you got to have your lifetime stash of money for random adventures, stored away, ready to go any moment.
absolutely. Well, hopefully over time that sting of having to pay for overseas travel goes away with the sport getting bigger and all of that. Pick up some sponsors, right?
Oh, that'd be awesome. I mean, I'll still go wherever, I want to travel the world, just to be able to put on my resume that, I went here for a sword fighting too. It's just like, okay. Everyone at my work knows I went. They're all asking to see photos and videos and, so it's just awesome. Everyone that was being supportive about it too.
That's just super cool. Man, you guys had a really good performance over there. Remind everybody, how'd you guys finish?
So for women's fives, we came in second place. We lost to Finland. For threes, both of our teams did not make it out of our pools. My team almost did, but it came down to points because we had tied with so many other teams on rounds and matches won. So it came down to like how many people left standing, and they counted points. Yeah, so it's like, oh, points do matter, and that's a good reminder. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
We thought for sure we were making out of our pool because we did so well, and then turns out, nope, we tied. It's like,
That's I mean, still second for fives.
Yeah, second for fives was great.
At Worlds, you can't be mad at that one.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not mad at all.
Literally only one thing better than that.
Yeah. And especially fighting with people on my team that, I've never really fought with them as a teammate before. It's either been against them or never met them in my life. So it was just like to come together and be able to perform that well was amazing.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah, only imagine like with the team that you're actually comfortable using going into Worlds and stuff. Like after a year or two of more training, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know Rachel wants to go next year, so I'm hoping like, hey, we can team up again.
There you go.
Speaking of performing well, I did get to witness a certain round at Siege that was pretty amazing. And if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about your takeaways of that 2v5 that happened in that tournament.
From my perspective, I was wearing a helmet and I did not know we were down that bad.
What?
That's about right.
And yeah, I was thinking, dear God, it's almost over. Someone come save me. And then Rachel saved me. So
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but thank God for Rachel.
I mean, you two together in that corner were just so tough to like fight off against, and like everybody else was picking off the other teammates, and they just couldn't handle you two.
Yeah, and I think part of that is just experience, because her and I have, we've practiced a few times more together. We've been to more events together, whereas Sam and Jordan, we just haven't had that yet. But hopefully we'll all get there, because it'd be awesome to see their whole team beat like Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rachel's a weapon.
With those experience.
Rachel's scary. Practice on Saturday, I got to watch her eyes light up as I handed her a really, really heavy axe. And a lot of things clicked at the same time, and I was scared, Sandy. But now you guys, I mean, are you guys currently, I think so, the number one ranked women's team in the sport, in the United States?
I don't know if it depends on where you're looking at, I guess. Because Carnage was the only event that had enough qualifying teams for Buhert League to count.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where that ranking's coming from. So it only counts Carnage. So the other events that we did, they're not ranked on there. And so I don't know how the other teams have been doing at their events that they've been to. So I can't give you an accurate statement on that.
Oh, fair enough. It just seems everywhere you go, you guys end up winning. That's what I was getting at, is you seem to be a dominant force. So things are working, right?
Yes. I mean, our training seems to be working. Our teammates, teamwork seems to be working. And yeah, for the events we've been to, we've been dominating. It's been awesome. But like I said, I just don't know how, the southern half of the U.S. is doing, or the western half. And, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been watching very closely Carnage 2024's registration. And it looks like you guys will be defending the title, right? That's a lot of teams.
It is, and to hear that they're bringing the best from overseas for women too, it's just like, oh my gosh, women have never had this many teams, at least as far as I know, in the U.S. at one event. So we're all so excited just to do this, and also for it to feel like when men get to fight other events, they have all these fights, and women usually get so few, that we're so excited to get that chance to have just as many fights.
Yeah. Absolutely. Which does lead to one of the questions that we had submitted for today, which is how do you think we so Buhert's a male-dominated space, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think Buhert as a community really needs to do to build women's teams and have more representation and more fights and pretty much get you guys in more?
I think one thing definitely for sure would, for some way when we sign up for events, either if there aren't going to be nearly as many fights for the women, then make maybe the registration fee smaller, or my preferred would be make it that each women's team gets a minimum amount of fights automatically, no matter how many teams show up. Because if there are only two women's teams, we only get that one fight, it's not as fun. But if we automatically know we're going to get at least 4 fights, that'll be awesome. And also to spread it out a little bit. Don't put it all in the same hour back to back. If we're intermingled with the men, it makes it easier for us to recuperate and things like that for events of that size.
That makes sense. These are the things that that I really like to boil into, because I feel like I do just as much organizing as I do fighting. I actually probably do more organizing now than I do fighting, and that's I never want to be the person that overlooks, right? And I don't think anybody on our team wants to be involved in something like that. So listening and trying to figure out exactly what we can do in Cincinnati to help further it, and everybody else that tunes in and listens to this kind of stuff that might be running an event, trying to figure out how they can also make sure things are fair, equal, and worth everybody's time coming out.
Yeah.
Looking at our takeaways from Cincinnati Siege in surveys, we did have a lot that echoed what you just said, to where fights were back to back and there weren't too many for the women's teams, and trying to figure out a better way around that is pretty much paramount to making sure we have more women's teams come out, right?
Yeah, but for that to happen, we also just need more women's teams in general, because when we only have 7 or 8 around the U.S. that are even teams, and we're all spread out, it makes it really hard. We're lucky enough that, we're on the same highway as you guys in Nashville. Like, okay, we can drive to you 3, make it kind of easy. Some of the others are a little bit easy, but us 3 makes it kind of easy. But for other places, when it's, the West Coast or one of those teams, we're not going to see them out here for smaller events. And to fly out here and to know that they're just going to get 2 fights, it's like, well, that's, $500 I didn't need to spend for 10 minutes of fun.
Yeah.
So that's the trade-off.
That makes perfect sense.
I want to go to Reno. I had fun there last year, but it also cost me over $1,000 to fly out there, not alone for my hotel and things like that. And I only had, the 2 fights and a little bit the second day for funsies. And I'm just like, that was a lot of money for not a lot of fighting.
Yeah.
It was a good event, but not a lot of fighting. Not worth me spending the money again.
The experience of being there may not be worth the bill at the end of it, if you're not even getting, especially as a fighter, if you're not there getting the rounds in that you want.
Yeah.
And traveling,
Like when we went to Carnage last year, our mistake was that was, for a lot of our women on the team, that was their very first event. And so they thought all events were like that. So when we went to other events, they're like, wait, that's all the fighting we get? And it was like, yeah, sorry, Carnage was unique. So it's like, if we could have more like that, where it's, 4 or 5 teams worth of fighting, it's amazing for us just to get our money's worth.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And very, very noted. We have tons of events that we try to do, so I'll try to make sure that next time we have Siege, that the women's teams, as many as we bring out, leave tired.
Yeah.
Wear them hard.
Because there have been a few events where I left where I'm like, oh, okay, I still have plenty of energy. It's like, all right. But yeah.
Still have plenty of energy.
Question coming in chat. Which teams that you have fought were the most fun to fight against? And if you could fight any team in the world, who would it be and why?
I do not know nearly all the teams in the world, so I struggle to answer that one. Of the teams I fought, which were fun, I'm not sure if it was Denlock or Steel Coven. That was the most fun, but the most memorable for me was Steel Coven, because someone got their axe stuck in my helmet, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're stopping the fight. And the pictures are hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most memorable fight for me, is that one.
When did that happen?
That happened at Carnage.
Oh, you guys really love Carnage, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of good memories.
So that was, the most memorable fight.
Yeah.
Although, actually, you know what? For teams in the world that I'd like to fight Finland again, but with my home team this time, so I can see if we can beat them.
There we go.
Yeah, let's do that.
Fly them all out.
Axe in the head sounds memorable. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, staring at an axe head in your helmet. That would wedge itself in there for me too.
Yeah. At least you're not forgetting it. So it looks like we have another question by Grandpa Warhammer. What do you think the sport could do to draw more women to it, in your opinion?
Probably the big thing is just getting out there and making sure people know about it, because I had no idea. And at first when I did find out about the sport, or what I thought was the sport, I thought women couldn't do it, because I went to medieval times, the dinner theater, and all I saw was men in armor. And so I thought you had to be a man to put on armor. And so I didn't even look it up for several years when the thought was always in my head.
Huh. I guess we got to like break down those walls of stigma. It's like a man's sport.
Yeah. And then besides that would also just be getting the sport out there, letting people know about the sport in general. Because again, I had no idea for the longest time. And I love medieval stuff.
And to be fair, once the helmets are on, it's kind of hard to tell who you're fighting anyways.
Right.
It's just someone covered in metal coming at you to take your head off.
Also, a lot of the women's teams didn't know what tabards people would wear, so we all decided to do some version of black. So, there was a lot of grabbing your own teammate.
Oh, no.
I have noticed that when it comes to the women's teams, there's a lot of black tabards and a lot of horse-inspired logos.
Well, the horse one is reasonable. We're all from the same breed, so.
Oh, jeez. No, that's a fair point. I think overall the weakest part when it comes to Boohurt is marketing in general. It's still, especially in the United States, it's still so niche. If I had a dime every time somebody asked me, "Oh, you going Merpin this weekend?" it would be a lot of dimes.
Yeah, and on top of that, every time, we have people that are interested, and then they hear the price of the armor or something like that, and they're like, oh, never mind. And it's just like,
Yeah.
There's definitely an upfront hurdle to getting into the sport.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to be prepared to spend some money.
Tapwada. So is this purely an at-your-own-expense sport? Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you win.
Pretty much. Some teams, it also depends on where you are, what teams are around you, and what gear's available. We have some loaner armor, but it's still very much so, hey, get your own armor, especially because armor is made to the individual. So if you're wearing something that isn't made to you, it's not going to be as comfy or as safe as random off-the-shelf kit number 7. But for the most part, you can kind of get lucky sometimes with your kits and piece stuff together for people similar size or hit good sales like Boohurt Tech's Black Friday sale where we ordered like 18 Squire kits. I'm sorry, Igor. But
sorry, not sorry.
But if you get you can get into armor for around 2,200 all said and done, and that's a weapon included, and you're ready to rock. But yeah, for the most part, there's not too much money in the sport when it comes to sponsors or anything like that. So traveling to events, that's on you a lot of the times, or on your club. So things get a little pricey sometimes, but it's still cheaper than golf.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, and there's that hurdle, but who doesn't want to travel all over the place to hit people with axes?
Oh, it's great. I have traveled more from Boohurt in the last 3 years, than I have the rest of my life. So.
And so, Sandy, can you go ahead and tell us like a little bit about your kit and and all the weapons you have, and maybe some of your favorite things about it?
The majority, half of my kit is new and half is used.
Mm-hmm.
My helmet came from Boris. It's well used, well padded. I can't hear in it, can't see in it, but I also can't feel anything in it, so it's great. I think the first almost 6 months I was fighting mostly blind because I didn't know you're supposed to put some extra padding in there to raise it up.
Whoa.
No one told me, and I didn't complain, so no one could tell me.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff I do have, like weapons-wise, they came from like Bruhert Tech, Medieval Extreme. Those have been the two main ones I bought from. And I usually use a falchion, but my favorite weapon that isn't really a weapon is my buckler. So.
Oh, a good piece of equipment.
Yeah. I'm normally a right-handed person, but when it comes to the buckler, I love punching, so it's always great with that left hand. Yeah.
I always tell people the shields in this sport are not defensive items. Those are weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never used my left hand so much until now.
Right. I started noticing that in melees too. Like people would bring in a buckler. I'm like, that's just a small item, and they're actually just using it as a giant fist. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind.
Bonk, bonk. You mentioned, your first kit not being able to see or hear anything, and it just cracks me up because as I consider it, this really is like a sensory deprivation sport.
Yeah.
So like minus your wolf rib, because most of the time once you're in, you can't see, you can't hear, you can hardly breathe. All you know is that there's someone out there you're supposed to hurt.
Yeah.
You gotta
And
go
sometimes it's the wrong one. All you see is the black tabard, you hit them, and they're like, no, not me.
Oh, body your teammate. Yeah, you assume like a different persona with like the helmet on and everything, and nobody can see you, especially for people who like don't want to be looked at. But if I'm wearing a mask, it all changes.
I'm definitely one of those people. Like going out in front of the crowds in armor is fine. Going out without the armor is not fine.
Yeah.
Yep, agreed. Like this is anxiety inducing. In the list with the helmet on, you could have 10,000 people watching. I wouldn't care twice about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last week we had Lawrence. He was talking about like trying to get more people. I think just being noteworthy in the sport and being more popular, like having people have their helmets off before getting into the list and then putting it on just so that people know, like, oh, that's Alex, he's getting on this, or oh, that's Sandy, she's right there, that's her armor, just so that people would know who the heck everybody was. But would you be interested in doing something like that? Like, I don't know, have everybody just like put on their helmets while on the list and like just parading around a little bit and showing off.
Would I be interested? Yes. Would I ever? No, because my helmet takes about 10 minutes to put on. It's very stressful to get me strapped in there good. Just because of the way I have it, it takes forever, and I need like 2 people helping me.
Oh, it's like maybe your ears get like pinned down or something.
Mm-hmm. And then the chin strap is really difficult for me, and with the armor I have for my arms, my hands can't get up in there, so I need someone to help me buckle it. Yeah, I'm a very dependent knight. So for me, putting on the helmet right beforehand would not work. But other people, I see them do it, and they do just fine. So
there's no worse feeling than like struggling with that chin strap after a good round. Like I just want to breathe and see again, and you're trying to get it, and you're trying to freak out a little bit, but it's part. I think that's a lot where the helmet horror comes from. And for me, I've dealt with that a little bit, but just being able to relax for a second, realize you have all these people around you, because it's very much a team sport. No one could do this alone. We couldn't rest alone for the most part.
Couldn't even get your arms on.
Yeah, this sport has really, helped me be more comfortable with asking for help and telling people I need help.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could never do the sport without being able to do that.
Oh yeah. Or you could just do the old secret of just don't wear your chin strap and pray.
Head rips. Hey, wait.
I'm just gonna take a knee anytime somebody grabs me.
Right.
Don't.
What kind of helmet are you running?
A big heavy one. I'm not quite sure if Force's old one. It looks kind of pointy on top, and it's got a visor that doesn't stay open, and lots of padding. Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, 19 pounds or so with everything that's in it right now. And then heavier when I sweat. It's
good
heavy.
Oh, goodness.
The first time I felt someone else's helmet, I got really upset because I'm like, what do you mean yours is like 5 pounds and throw it to the sky?
No, that's like a dueling helmet
Where
for like
mine
Mickey
is,
or something.
Yeah, mine you have to hold with 2 hands and get help putting it on just because it's so heavy.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, I can't feel anything, so
Yeah.
I'll keep it.
It's bomb-proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got one of the older stilettos. I think that's what that one's called. We just have a few people that wear those ones. If I'm remembering your helmet correctly, which
Maybe. It's got like little eye holes and then holes, a visor, and a pointy on the back.
yeah. Almost like the visor that looks like a plow, right?
I think so, a little bit, yeah.
Oh, okay. I see your helmet. I'm on their Facebook page right now.
Okay, cool.
It's kind of like a little pointed bassinet, and then it has like that, like I can't remember, stiletto visor on it too. But it has like those ridges in it, kind of like a vegetable. I'm thinking of. I can't.
Yeah, juice.
Zucchini. Yeah, that's it. But,
Bless you.
I definitely
Yeah.
feel safe in it, though, so,
Yeah.
I like
yeah. No, I love that style of helmet. I just think they're super cool. They're very like knightly and all of that. And I mean, as somebody that has ordered a wolf rib, like it does pain me because the knightly appearance is so cool. and it's intimidating. I do remember. I think it was over in last year. You came out and me and you were in the list against each other at one point, and you pushed me into a corner and just started punching me with that buckler. And I'm just like, good lord! And I'm looking at this helmet. And I'm like, this is terrifying and hurts.
Yeah, I've been told it's very intimidating when I'm in the list. And I saw a photo of me in the list before. I'm like, oh dear God, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's like, is that me? Awesome.
Thanos has asked a question. If you were given a blank check for armor, what would you get and from whom?
I do not know nearly enough people in the sport right now to know exactly who else making the best armor. I keep hearing the name Maximus, so I'll throw out his name.
Yeah, Maxim's fantastic. Fantastic. Travis is
With
wearing
wild
a
armor,
Maxim
yeah.
kit. Alex is wearing a Maxim helmet.
I'm buying a different helmet though, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's solid. It's solid though.
And I heard legs with articulating knees. I would love a pair of those. I don't have those yet, but that is my dream.
Limburg.
Yeah, so I switched over because I had floating knees, and I've had 2 blown out MCLs, and I went through Limburg and I got articulated knees, and they pinned to my greaves. It's where they like kind of like lock in.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed my entire life. So that absolutely. What would you say your favorite like style is though for armor? Like the Western styles, the Eastern styles, Gothic.
I'm gonna go with what I have right now. Like this is what I always dreamed of.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, there you go. You can't beat
I
that.
didn't even know about the other styles till I started the sport, and I'm like, oh, there are other helmets? What kind of armor are they wearing?
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. I was always a big like armor nerd.
Yeah, I never looked too much into it. I just saw like the main photos, and like that's what I want to be when I grow up.
There you go. And now you're living it out.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get away from that because I'm very much in that syndrome where I'm aware of the criticisms with my kit, but at the same time it's my first kit and I love it, and there's something very sentimental with that. And I'm like, I don't care if this thing kills me, I kind of want to die with it.
What?
I feel that.
Yeah, his is also a Maxim specialty. It's like the Rust kit with all those little plates on it.
It's what, Cade, 7 or 8 years old?
Oh, something around there. It was Ricky Rayome's kit, and then it became Bowman's kit, and then it became my kit, and then it became Matt Agnew's kit, and now it's Travis's kit.
It's just held together through hopes and dreams and rage.
Rage.
If it works, it works.
It works.
the cursed armor of Cincinnati. Let's see. Going through chat and tape. Yeah, lots of tape.
Yeah. I can't get over that without some electrical tape.
Pulling up.
Well, Sandy, obviously, I'm speaking a little bit of the siege mentality because, Jordan fought with you guys taking gold. And, she likes to remind me of that a lot around the house. She'll plop down on the bed and be like, how's it feel to lay next to a gold medalist?
Yikes.
Accomplished movement fighter. And just using that to segue into it, what do you think makes a good fighter? Like, what kind of person do you want on your team in the list?
I just want someone that's happy to be here, has passions, shows up to practice, and tries their best. Because I think that's what makes our team so great is that just the people on it. We have personalities that we all love each other. We'll go out for boba tea after practice and things like we actually want to be around each other. So I think it's just our dedication, our teamwork, and maybe it's because we're all on Bumble together. I don't know.
What the?
I mean, it says a lot. You want the people with you engaging in the sports you're spending time with to want to be there, to have some kind of passion for it. I don't think there's too much of it, the whole clock in, clock out mentality. But when you meet someone or talk to them, they're just so about this, and it's just, they embody the things that you want to see. That it kind of makes you push a little bit harder to see, like, no, they're all in, and I got to step on the gas if I want to keep up with that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yes. I don't know what else to add to that.
Well,
I just know, I love people's personalities and just meeting all the other Femi fighters in the sport. Everyone seems so amazing and just fun people to just hang out with and be friends with. And then to go and fight with them too. It's just like, okay, yay, let's fight. And then afterwards, we'll still hang out, be friends. Doesn't matter which team we are on,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like Grandpa Warhammer just said, it's one of the things he likes about watching the women's teams fight. They have so much fun. Before, during, and after the fights, a lot of times you see men's tournaments, and it's definitely the slog and the I'm just gonna rip this guy's head off. And then afterwards, there might be a little bit of fun going to have a beer together, but it does seem, watching the women's teams, that there's just a gigantic community of friends, regardless of which black tabard you put on.
Which black tabard?
Um,
She's going to go home and start redesigning one now, like a bright white one now. Or
we're actually, we're in the process of making maroon ones.
Oh, sweet.
Kind of like this.
Oh, okay, to match your guys' merchandise already. Hey.
Yeah, because we realized, the black on black was not going well for anyone.
And then the sun either.
Oh, yeah, that too. We just bake. It's fine.
We're all
Also,
first
that's
teams in the end.
Yeah. That also segs into like another good question. It's like, so what kind of like training secrets can you share, and the matches that stick out and that inspire you to train as hard with those fighting methods with ladies you already have such a good time and chemistry with?
I think we just run through the drills a lot. The wing rail push, we do those a lot. We just practice them repeatedly, and then we'll do other melee practices together, things like that. So I think it's just standard things, and we just repeat it so often that we're like, okay, we know where you're going to be. I know you're 3 steps behind me, or if it's you, you're 4 steps ahead of me. Like, I know where you're going to be.
Oh, nice.
It's just like, okay, I know how they're going to move. It's great. Because I've seen it so often. I know exactly that they've got my back. I don't need to worry about them. Rachel's going to stay standing. It's fine.
All like reliable and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
And for matches that have stood out,
Yeah, matches that stood out that like helped inspire your own training and fighting methods moving on forward.
Oh, okay. So Nashville, when we were doing the qualifiers to go overseas, my team actually came in second, and my shield had gotten stuck, and I didn't know what it was, and I found out later it's because she had a hold of it. And so that's when we changed the way I was training, and we started using a buckler more and things like that. Because then we were able to make it so that, okay, if they grab a hold, I can do some other things, and we trained that.
Like
So
slip
based
out.
on where, Yeah, so like where I got stuck, we would train on how to figure that out. Those are the ones that stick out most to me. Is like when I get stuck, how did I get stuck?
Yeah,
And
I don't
then
want to
people
make
tell me like
mistake.
later, like, oh, this is what you should do in that situation, and so I can practice that.
Well, that's
and
cool
then
that you have
one of my
fight
other
tape
favorite
to check
ones.
out.
Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
One of my other favorite ones was in Spain. You know, where I'm just like tied up with someone, and someone tries to run into me, and then they just fall over. I love that one. If everyone could do that, that'd be great. I don't have to do anything. I just got to stand there. Yeah. So
It's
that
a
one
good
was a
feeling
fun one.
when you get those ones, when you get a takedown that you weren't even aware you were doing.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, okay.
it's nice. I like this.
Right. It almost always feels like you're the cool dude in the action movie walking away from the explosion, right?
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I do love the dog piles that occasionally happen, though. Normally it's in the list, but the one at Cincinnati Siege happened outside the list. I tripped when I was getting ready to take off my armor, and then some of the other women, come and jumped on me too, and it was just fun. Usually happens in the list, though, when y'all just fall down.
There's no points there.
Yeah.
Another question in the chat. What's your weapon of choice and why?
So weapon of choice would be the buckler, if you count that. If not,
I count it.
I bring a falchion.
Yeah.
Or I think the other one I would go with is a mace, just because at this point in my life, I have not trained enough with an axe to make sure that I'm accurate or holding it right. And I've noticed when people use the axe, if they're not very good with it, I can easily grab it and then they don't know what to do while I'm still hitting them with my other hand. The better fighters, if I start to fall with it, they'll let go. But a lot of the fighters so far, if I hold on with it and I'm going to go down, they come with me because they don't let go of their axe.
Oh, right on.
So,
Like that is an option. Drop your
Yep.
stuff and go get another one.
someone did it to me recently where they let go, and I'm like, darn it, I forgot you're a good fighter, like a really good fighter, and you knew what I was gonna do. And so I was just like, oh, and they weren't.
You're not a noob.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I hope in the future, I'll practice with the axe more and get better with it. But until then, I'm gonna stick with the single-handed weapons.
A nice pairing to the buckler.
Yeah, that's your grappling action.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything wrong with, like you said, if the buckler's your favorite, focus that and build around that. I mean, you're out there winning gold. Who's going to tell you otherwise?
Yeah.
Broke don't fix it.
Exactly, yeah. Now the buckler's slept on. Big steel punching weapon.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, at first I wasn't keen on it because it was so much smaller than my shield, and I'm like, I don't know. But then I was trying it. I'm like, oh yeah, they're not grabbing on. They're not holding it like they did my big shield. Oh, okay, I can do things now. I like this.
Yeah, because I feel like they have to get even closer to get to touch you now, and you can just like, it's like get away from me.
Jordan asks, do you have any intentions to paint your buckler?
Oh.
I do. I haven't yet because I want to make sure whatever I paint it meets the requirements for Carnage, because I wasn't sure, what those requirements are or will be. I need to figure that out.
Yeah.
So as of right now, it's still just black.
Yeah, I know we touched that a little bit last week with Larry, the balance between,
good and evil.
Having whatever you want on your buckler versus meeting the authenticity requirements of it.
Is that saved somewhere and I can go back and watch it?
Yeah, it'll be up on our YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a really good chat with him about just rules of auth and how we're not allowed to have fun.
Yeah, he said he would be back next time, or anytime we talk about authenticity, because we just keep bitching about it or something. He wants to just shut us down again. He'd be more than willing to do that.
He roasted everybody that wears an Eastern kit. If you're watching, Larry, we love you. We're just poking fun. Yeah, that should be up on our YouTube. I believe it's scheduled to upload tonight. It's either tonight or next week. I can't remember how I set up scheduling. It might be 2 weeks behind or 1 week behind. but that one will be up, and eventually for everybody listening and watching, I will figure out how to use Adobe Audition and actually get these uploaded to like Apple Podcasts and Spotify and stuff like that, so you can just kind of tune in while you're driving, and you can listen to us in your car because you want to hear more of us.
Because you love us and how we sound.
Yeah, I had a question about that today. It's like, is our podcast on Spotify? I was like, no, but that's a good idea. Jeez.
No.
I gotta figure that one out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's up and you can check it out. And we spent quite a bit of time on like personalizing your kit and how to go about that. And, I was shot down. We cannot turn our tabards into NASCAR.
Oh.
Not with that attitude, we can't.
Well, I thought he said also, like, if we just do one event or a few events kind of like that, like, fuck off and just do it. Maybe they'll just start catching on, like, dude, money talks. It's actually happening. And then they'll just go like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's something that I'm personally interested in seeing what happens with and seeing what we can do. DFC and I'm gonna attempt it again. It's not Peg.
All right.
Pegasi, not Pegasi.
It's C at the end. Okay. So Pegasi. How's the sponsor action up in Michigan? You guys pick anybody up? Anybody interested?
These are things I know nothing about.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I think there might be a sponsorship for like Mountaineer beard. I'd have to look, but I don't have a beard, so I never looked into it.
That's fair.
I don't have a beard. Oh yeah, okay. I think Sean Fabian's sponsored by Mountaineer Beard Oil and stuff, right?
I think he is as well, yeah. So we talked a lot about melees. How about some dueling action? 1v1s. Do you enjoy doing duels and pro fights and everything?
I had my first pro fight experience this year, and yeah, so far I've been enjoying it. I gotta find people that are approximately my size that I can fight, so that's a little bit harder. But when I have, it's been awesome. I loved it, and I'm hoping that I'll be in shape better for next year when there's more of them. And for duels, I'm enjoying that too. I just started doing those really at the qualifier for Spain. That was where I first did it because I heard that's how women could get more fights, is if you sign up for that, because there weren't going to be a whole lot of teams there for melee. So I was like, okay, I've never done longsword before. I'll try it, just to get more fights. And I didn't do too bad. It didn't do good, but I didn't do too bad. And so I've just been trying harder since then on those, and I do enjoy them. They're for sure. Yeah. And I've continued doing longsword. I've tried sword and shield, but as we found out, I like to punch too much. So, that's not really good for that one. So I think I'm just going to stick with longsword for now.
Longsword's a good one. That holds a special place in my heart. It's just so fast, and if you're not in HMB rules, you can really punch and you can use your pommel and just have a lot of fun with it. Question from this Stitchineer. Why don't you like sword and shield? Is it just
when the rule is that you're not allowed to punch, I tend to punch. Even when I know the rule is you're not allowed to punch.
That's why you gravitated towards like pro fighting or something like that.
Yeah, I get too into it and I forget, and I'm just like, I'm going all out.
I understand. It's like getting a new game and then you get a piece and they say you can't use that piece.
Yeah,
like this is boxing. Like, this is Rock'em Sock'em Robots. What do you mean I can't sock?
It kind of even happened during Longsword the last time at Cincinnati Siege, and one of my fights against Celeste. I started to try and trip her, and I realized, like, oh, that's not allowed. Not this one. She was good sport about it, though, so it's okay.
Dueling is so taxing. I think it's becoming my preferred way to train for melees, in its own weird little way of just like I've never been more tired than running like a duels bracket. Compared to just doing a melee event. Maybe that's just a symptom of me just holding onto a rail for dear life for the duration of melee, and not really moving. But man, dueling's rough. Still enjoy it though.
Yeah, you definitely realize that you don't have any cardio. That's
yeah.
And
because they ask you.
I can't even spell that.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe I'm just bad at cardio training, but it doesn't. It's weird. It's like it doesn't matter how much cardio we do. It seems like dueling just continually just gets tougher.
Yeah, and then they ask you to fight again. It's like, okay, so you're done with that one. See you in like 2 minutes. It's like, what?
Yeah, and you're like, no, I'm done. I will take the second spot. I don't need to be that first spot. I'm good. They can have it. They win.
Help me with my chin strap.
Yeah, help me take this shit off. Metal's metal.
So, outside of the list, what do you do? What are your hobbies, and all of that?
I love doing archery, and I also help teach archery. I also play soccer or volleyball. And when I'm not doing that, I like to hang out with my friends and get boba tea.
How do we work archery into the sport?
Right. No, kettle helms. That's how you do it.
I'm all for this. Like, there's a game called Archery Tag, and I would love if we all did that at events too.
That would honestly be pretty fun.
Shoot each other.
That would be pretty sweet. So, your archery, is it like hunting based or just like target?
I do it just for target. I have one that's good for actually going hunting and stuff, but I realized that, it's just not really for me. I'd rather just do the target archery, lesser pound draw weight, and just have fun shooting for hours. Versus, I went hunting one time, and I spent so much time just sitting there for hours.
Yeah. Drinking.
in a tree stand with a compound.
Yeah, I'd rather go to the archery range and just shoot for hours and talk. Because I tend to go with a group of other people, and half the time we're talking. But yeah, it's fun.
You ever wanted to just put like a wolf rib on a watermelon and see how easy it would be?
Yeah. Like, take that. Take that, you min-maxers.
Oh, jeez. Next time you come down to Ohio, there's a really cool 3D range. That's super fun. Have you ever gone to a 3D range?
I have not. I heard they're good though.
They're super cool. It's at Caesars Creek Lake. It's not too far from our gym, and it's they've got like velociraptors and T-Rexes set up throughout the woods and stuff.
Oh, wow. I don't
it's
need
just a good
that.
time.
They're playing Turok in real life.
Instead of eating Cece's pizza all the time.
Oh, you got to move around and jump the deer. Thanks, Ethan. Appreciate that. Oh.
Oh, yeah, Ethan had his own personal question too. Can you talk about turning him into a sandwich over at the wedding and your perspective on that?
What sandwich? Oh, wait, we were going to squeeze him between me and Cassie.
Yeah! It's getting weird with Ethan here.
We thought he'd enjoy it.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Kindred Hunter. Oh, that's fantastic. Let's see. You guys planning on of coming out to Ohio Renegade this year?
Yeah, I keep meaning to fill out that form. So yes, I'm coming down for sure. I don't know which weekends yet, but I plan to multiple times. If anyone of the women down there want to fight duels or something with me, I'd love to.
All the time.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, I just got to send out the poll to ask everyone what their availability is. I keep forgetting.
We just got to peep at our new area. Travis was out there, and they asked us to be a big part of their commercial for this year.
Yes, Travis.
He was out filming all day Monday.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long day, but it was fun. We got, I can add that to my wiki now.
You got IMDb now.
Experience, but the new area it's nice. We'll actually have, some trees and some shade.
Ooh,
more themed with it. I'm so excited. I cannot wait till.
What about restrooms?
Yes,
restrooms nearby.
I believe they're building some more. Don't hold me to that though.
Yeah, I believe in our new area they already have like concessions and restrooms in that all locked up in that new area, just so we don't have to migrate as far.
In a literal wall of food trucks within like distance. Like I could throw an axe at a food truck.
So with all those trees, I just heard about that. Does that mean we don't need tents?
No, that's a whole nother thing. We do have a lot of area to work with, though, and we're trying to figure out, how to accommodate visiting fighters and make sure just everyone's having a good of time as we are out there, because they've been so good to us, and it's such a fun venue.
Nice.
Can't wait to beat the snot out of each other in front of a bunch of more people.
Oh yeah, and then also Chris Rack says there's also going to be a pub. Heck yeah! Was that where like the Queen was slapping Mike Drake in the head?
No, that was the original one by the jousting area. We're getting all new stuff back there.
Cool. How rusted is the rust kit now? Is it unusable?
Don't worry about that. No, I've still got to do a lot of maintenance. As soon as it started sprinkling, I was like, oh God, here goes another 3 hours of my week. I think I have one more question up here on there. Sandy, where did the name of the Pegasus come from? What's the the deep lore behind that?
Yeah, lore.
We were just throwing some names out in the chat, and someone put in there, what about Pegasisters?
Pegasisters.
And, we're all just like laughing. And then, we're like, you didn't say it out loud, did you? And then, we're all just like, actually, yeah, this is awesome. This is awesome. So we're like, yeah, let's be that. And then we're like, well, it may not be the most marketable, so let's take it a step back. Sisterhood of the Pegasus. Okay, but that's not as cool. So let's do in Latin, Sororitas Pegasi. But privately, we still call each other Pegasisters.
Yeah,
Pegasisters. Oh, that's like your nickname to each other.
Easily 20
Pegasisters. Wow, that's pretty cool.
The little doodles, the Pegasus.
Yeah.
Who does that one? Because those are excellent. I love them to death.
That would be Cassie.
Cassidy.
Cassie.
Okay. I can't hear.
Yeah, or talk.
Or talk. I've had a lot of concussions, guys. Give me a break. But no, those are so cool. I saw the one from Siege, and you had the Barbarian next to the Pegasus, and I was just like, this is so cool.
Nice.
Yeah, she's really good at doodling, and I just send her requests all the time. And then she's like, no. Okay, yes for that one. No, yes for that one.
I love it. I'm sure Lynn feels the same way, because I'm constantly sending her like, hey, can you do this? Is this a thing? Grandpa Warhammer, from where you are right now, where do you see the sport in the next 5 years, and where do you hope it goes?
I would love for there to be as many women's teams as there are men's teams. That's where I would hope it goes. I don't see that happening anytime soon, not in 5 years. That's just my dream, though.
Yeah, that's your hope. Yeah.
But I would love for there to be, a few more teams here in the Midwest and a few more in the West Coast, and I'd love for more teams to spring up for women. That way, it's not always us flying to half of the U.S. just to get enough teams there for us to have a decent amount of fights.
Yeah, like mark up together and stuff.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, I think in 5 years we're all going to be piloting Gundams, fighting on a large scale, mobile Gundam G. We all got our suits.
Yeah, just fighting in their suits.
Take the armor and make it bigger. That's what we're doing.
Dude.
It's the
Then we'll definitely need
natural
sponsors.
progression, right?
At least this is what I dream about. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, Jordan just says we just need to get the word out, keep telling people about the sport. It is fairly new in America. I do agree with that. Like, I just found out about it like in last November or last summer, pretty much. And
oh yeah.
And Sandy, where do you personally see yourself in 5 years? Just kind of branching off of that last question. I mean,
I still expect to be in the sport. Hopefully, I'm not injured with all my normal ligaments and everything. But I know a few people on our team would have been out for at least a year or two at that point, or will be coming out, because I know a few of them want to have kids in the future. I told them not anytime soon, but 5 years, I guess it's fine.
I guess that's fine as the captain. Put a timer on your teammates.
Yeah.
Only allowed to have kids in this window.
But I hope by that point, we'll have a whole lot more women and femme fighters in the sport, especially on our team. Because, we do have a lot of interest. It's just mostly at this point that a lot of them are just like, it's too expensive for me right now at this time in my life. But hopefully in a few more years, they'll be making more money and can afford it.
Yeah. Everything comes back to money, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
18 years, they'll make you a new team.
Jeez, that's terrible.
Hey, that's long-term planning.
Right. Playing the long game with
Yeah, gee. Good Lord, Stitchener. Stitcheneer.
I've got about 20 more years of the sport total, I think, in me. So, we'll see after that.
I would be super happy if I can make it another 20 years.
Yeah, look at Ben Shiner. He's like 60.
Ben.
Good with it.
Rochelle is in her 50s. So, I mean, there are people in the sport up in there.
Yeah,
so if they can do it, I can do it too. Right. They are my inspiration.
Absolutely. I need to figure out what their joint care regimen looks like, because it's not going to be good.
Yeah. How much collagen
get on one?
I didn't say I'd be good in 20 years.
Right.
Well, I'm not good now. As long as I can still compete in 20 years, the skill level doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
I would love to see if we get enough people, it'd be divided more by like weight class for things. Because I do know in some, like for melees and stuff, me going against someone like Sam, where I'm easily over 100 pounds more than them. It's it's not the fairest of fights. So I think if there are more people and we could do a weight class eventually, that would be awesome.
One of our teammates was actually talking about something similar in that same vein for like melees, right?
Yeah, Nathan Kitchen. He marshaled at Siege. He's a good dude. Sad that he won't be with us at Kenya's this weekend. He's at a big LARP event. But he brought up doing a max weight cap for a melee team. So you have like a lightweight melee team, like capped at like 1,000 pounds for your entire team.
For the whole team.
For the whole team.
Okay.
And then you have your midweight, which is like 1,500 pounds for the entire team, and then an uncapped
open weight, yeah.
Like open weight.
Thunderdome League.
Right. Just kind of how it normally is right now.
Yeah, I could see this.
Right, it would change the sport fundamentally, because now do I take that big bruiser, or do I just take
two small fast guys,
other like 200-pound dudes? And figuring out the scaling and transferring that to like the women's and femme leagues, it really could level the playing field across the board for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
You start thinking about like team composition and like how all that thing kind of factors in.
Mm-hmm.
It would also make like regional teams super competitive for different weights to fill out.
Oh yeah.
I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be the fun experiment to run for a couple events, and just see how it goes. Like, hey, this is the 1,000-pound cap league, um, and just watch that. Those fights would be so much faster,
Yeah, that makes me sad. I don't think
like
any team
physically
uses, like,
faster.
I don't know if any team's going to commit like more than a third of their weight cap just to put me in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would definitely make it more difficult to make a team. I think it would have to be like replying to Grandpa Warhammer. It would have to be like a centralized kind of tournament, like
Yeah.
someplace where you could draw in a bunch of people or like a bunch of teams. Like maybe if you had like 47 teams register or something like that at an event that's happening in February 2024. That it would be fun to try it for not for the main line, but just do like some scrims or something after the
Yeah.
main rounds.
Subcategory there. Yeah.
Subcategories of the 1,000-pound league, the 1,500-pound league, the uncapped.
Little side tournament there.
Yeah, not talking about any specific tournament happening in February. That would be cool to see at. Our wild, crazy idea that I haven't brought up to anybody else other than this chat. Credit where credit's due. That's actually Kitchen's idea.
Yes.
But I think it's definitely something cool to look at, and that could also make things a little bit more fair, like you were talking about. You're getting into weight classes with teams and stuff like that.
But I will admit, though, I do love the way it is now, too, because I love that, you can choose people on your team, and it's like based on their skill set, their strategy. It doesn't really matter. It could just really be their skill, or maybe this is their fast person, and they're going to run around over here and do this. And, so I love both ideas. I just like having the one as like another one if you want one where it's a little bit more fair, where this one is more like free game. I love having the option to hear of those.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I agree there. I think it's definitely something that would be in addition to, not replacement of. Because man, it is fun. It's fun until, at least personally, you go up against like what was it? The Machos in Omaha.
Omaha. Get manhandled.
Looking across, and everybody's like 7 foot, 300 pounds, and it's just like, this is how I die. But no, that's that's just something that would be fun to play with. Looking at chat, Jordan, I think we are all in debt to Boohart. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd say there's a bulk of my credit card debt that is just swords, which is not the coolest thing in the world.
I mean, I appreciate what Boohart's done for me. Like, if not for this sport, like, I wouldn't have made like all these great friends just like in the past few months. Like, as an adult, I feel like it's really hard to make friends unless you have like a good friends group that's been positive, not into drugs, not dying and stuff, and like sticking with you up until now. But like as a loner adult, it's like, how are you supposed to make friends? But with a common interest like this, that people are like on a team and like you're supposed to mingle with each other and be nerd out and spend money, then sure, let's make some friends and have some fun. Like, I don't know if you feel the same way, Sandy, like if like the sport kind of changed your life in that type of way,
Oh, I totally do. And I think it made our friendship stronger and closer for the new ones. Because, like I'm asking them for help. Like, I need you to get up in here and pull this chin strap for me. Get up in my face.
Yeah, touch my sweaty neck.
Yeah, like normally my friends, we keep a few arm length distances. And now I'm like, no, I need you here right next to me. And also I need a hug.
Yeah, I'm about to get my face caved in right now.
Yeah.
Get an axe stuck in my head.
Yeah. Like,
who would have thought that like the chemical X for friendship was just violence?
Right. Go figure. Thousands of years.
Yeah, if you could say anything, and anything that has been a takeaway from Boohart of how it's changed your life, what would it be?
in the past year, I guess. Right?
I definitely would say, like, I've just had more friends from all walks of life now. Like, I've had a chance to meet people in totally different industry sectors, different places all over the world, and just, like, really opening my eyes to different experiences that people have had. And just meeting people and listening to them, it's just been eye-opening. And this is a great sport to meet people from all over. Because, like, my archery stuff, you know, it's always the same people, the same group from the same location, same area. Whereas this is, no, it's worldwide, essentially. But definitely for U.S.-wide, people on different parts of the U.S. Yeah.
Like, it's just fun that all the different backgrounds, it all kind of, no matter where you come from or what you've done, everybody kind of wants to be a knight.
Yes.
Right.
Like I'm in safety and I want to be a knight.
Right.
Like I always wish like there was like suits of armor like in my attic in my house that I live at right now, but there was just like insulation. I was like, come on, dude. When I finally went up there, it was just insulation. I was like, this is bullshit. I thought they're suits of armor.
That's the dream. We were joking at practice the other day. We were talking about collecting film. Or no, it was Travis who came over. We were talking about like collecting film and storing it and all of the fight film to go over and all of that, how we wanted to manage it. And we're like, yeah, we'll upload it on a drive and then we'll copy it over to a drive after a year and we'll put it in a safety deposit box in like 2 different categories. And we came to the conclusion that we're comfortable with that being all that's left of humanity for the aliens to find. Is just drives full of boo-hurt content.
That's all that'll be left. I mean, I'm good with it.
All that'll be left because it's I don't know, it's a little bit of a life-consuming sport in the best kind of way.
It definitely is. Yeah. It takes up all my waking hours, and I love it.
There's worse ways to spend time.
Right, dude.
Much worse ways.
Right.
I used to watch a lot of TV, and then I found boo-hurt.
now I just watch Boober. Oh, jeez.
So on your team, do you have your own nickname or anything like that? Because like,
oh yeah, every now and then they'll call me Sandstorm.
oh, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
That's rad.
Yo, Sandstorm. Captain Sandstorm, dude, that's sick.
A little Darude.
Yeah, that's your walkout music. Just spinning.
That's a pretty sick nickname. I know the bar for nicknames can be pretty low, but that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, dude. I didn't expect that. That was really sick.
That one is sweet. Let's see. Well, it appears we're closing in on 8:30. So I think that is about where we're going to wrap for this evening.
Right.
Of course, Sandy, thanks for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And Sandy, if you have any closing comments or anything you wanted to say to the chat or the Boohurt community?
Boohurt is awesome, and I look forward to seeing everyone at the next big event.
Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us on another episode of Axing Question. We will be back next Tuesday at 7 p.m., the 27th, with our guest. We're going to have the Trash Knight himself, Ringo, on. So tune in for that one. That'll be a fun conversation. So I hope to see everybody back. And once again, thank you so much, Sandy, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You guys are awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Stop.
All right, everybody, stay safe out there.